cute little hairpins. And trust me, I've never been this happy with any shop update. Today I'm gonna be sculpting some toast-shaped ones so that the clay doesn't stick. Problem with full porcelain clay. Near this eye pin, I've attached these two chains. Now the only thing that was left was the rusting test. Hello there, I'm Shray. I'm a clay and miniature artist. If you guys remember last time we made these cute little hairpins, after asking you guys on Instagram through a poll, I decided to go with all 4 of these designs. Now just like that, today I'm gonna be sculpting some toast-shaped ones. And trust me, I've never been this happy with any shop update because I am on track with all my deadlines. If you guys watched the last vlog, we finished all these hairpins in that vlog. So without any further delay, go and grab your favorite drinks. As usual, I have my iced coffee with me. Snuggle in and let's start sculpting.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belt. Drinking hot wine by the fire, don't care of anything else. It's Christmas and some kind of love, my friend. Pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas and outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you. Oh, it's such a charm, got you up in my arms. There's nobody at the door. You said I wish this will never be over. Darling, it's time for your present. Come over here. Now it is time to get out in the snow, lighting a light with you. Choirs will sing and the joy bells will ring. Nobody loves you as much as I do. It's a wonderful feeling from floor to the ceiling. It is that time of the year, drinking hot wine by the fire. Here on our own, we got nothing to fear. It's Christmas and some kind of love, my friend. Pick up some candy canes and hang a wreath on your door. It's Christmas, outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. It's just you and me tonight.
Making the toast in comparison to making the waffles that I made is a bit more difficult and time consuming. Reason being, for these I'm using this cutter right here, as you can see, but for the waffles I used the custom silicone mold because it's just a mold. You just have to put the clay inside and it comes out pretty nice, and you just have to add a little bit of shade. But for the cutter's case, I have to do a bunch of stuff or take care of a lot of things, like I have to dunk it in this cornstarch here so that the clay doesn't stick to the walls of the cutter and it easily comes out. I have to remove the excess clay, small thin bits that are there on the edges of the clay cutout. This is pretty important to make it look a bit more smoother. And after that I have to shade only the edges of the bread because obviously the center part is supposed to be lighter in comparison to the edges, which are the breadcrumb part that's supposed to be dark. So the shading as well as smoothing out of the pieces is taking slightly longer, hence it's a bit more slower to make these than the waffles. And in case you guys are wondering, I'll mention it again, this is just cornstarch that I use for dunking this thing and make the walls of it smoother. Now another small problem with full porcelain clay is that you have a very less of work time. Work time basically means how much amount of time you can actually spend adding details to the clay charm or details to the clay piece before it starts getting stiff or hard, because obviously it's AirDry clay and it's not not polymer clay, so it is going to harden out if it stays outside for a long time. Most of the time while sculpting small pieces, I dab a bit of talcum powder or cornstarch at the bottom, because otherwise it keeps on sticking to the glass and that becomes extremely problematic for me. Now, as mentioned, I dunk the cutter in cornstarch and then dab down the excess of the cornstarch, after which I press it against this thing and it comes out easily without the clay sticking to its edges. It's something that I saw in one of the Instagram reel. It's already drying up, so it's difficult to add the details to the toast. I'm using a brush because it's the best way. If the clay were a little bit more soft, the texture detail would come out even better, but sadly I'm working with cold porcelain clay, so as I've mentioned already, it dries up pretty quickly, so it's difficult to add the details properly. After using that brush, I'm using a small little, it's like a spike thing that people use for adding texture and detail, so I use that after using the brush to add the detail. If the clay didn't dry up this quickly, then just the brush texture would have been enough, like it is usually for the polymer clay one. So you have to take care of so many things while working with this clay, is because this piece of clay I have to put it back again, otherwise it will start drying up, and squish it and put it aside. Now, as I've mentioned, there are small tiny bits of clay pieces that I have to get rid of because of the cutter marks. Even after using the cornstarch, sometimes these things get stuck, so you can use a small blade like this. This is very helpful while working with clay, especially this one, and as well as while making my clay magnets. So because using that, you can actually lift off your clay pieces without distorting its shape. I'm getting rid of all the small pieces. You do understand, right? It has a few more steps in comparison to the waffle that I make, because that is just a mold that I'm using, and I just put the clay in the mold, put it out, add some shade, and it's done. No need of making the edges smooth, no need of adding any more textures. It's pretty simple. Once I'm done with that, I'm adding the shades. I have to be very gentle while holding the toast, because if I press my fingers way too hard, then there'll be fingerprints as well as the texture that I just made using the spike as well as the brush. It will just go away because of my thumb impression. So I have to hold it very lightly. At the same time, I have to make sure that it doesn't slide off while I'm adding the shade on the sides. So yeah, it is a time-consuming process. Now, if you guys have noticed, I'm not working on a bunch of toasts all together. Like, I'm making them in a batch of 4 or 5 toasts at a time. I'm sure you guys can understand the reason, because if I start working on more than 4 or 5 toasts, the edges and everything will start drying up and I won't be able to manage the time and I'll end up with a mess. That is why I'm working on about 4 or 5 toasts at a time, not more than that.
Feeling is all gone. Feeling is all gone. If I could take you back to my youth and show you what I wish I knew. My will is strong with a place to lean. In the moment I hung desperately. The other ring on my wrist is gold, pairing with the light it holds. When I return from my skin and bones, I'm remembering the words you told me. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
I wanted to to show you guys something that I got for my clay keychains. These are some chains that I got from an online jewelry making raw material site. Now the reason why I got this is because I realized many of my clay charms were a little weak around the jump ring area. Like if you can see near this eye pin, I usually add a small jump ring, the circle ones, and then I attach the keychain clasp. But I realized that the jump rings were pretty thin, and for some reason whenever I used to yank them, they would come apart, which is a problem. Although it is obviously not advised to yank your keychains, but accidental damages can happen. To avoid that, for my future products, I decided to get these chains. Now the benefit of these is because these are very strong and thick. They are like the thick chains that people sometimes wear and use for other jewelry making stuff. This is pretty strong in comparison to the jump ring. As you can see, I got two different color variants. One is very silver-like and the other one is kind of a metal look. The metal one is made from nickel and this one was called silver. This is not exactly silver, but there is some sort of a coating on top of it. Now the reason why I got both of them is because both have different dimensions when it comes to the thickness of the wire. That's why I wanted to check which one will be suitable for my eye pin, because my eye pin has a small hole, right? So if I get something that's way too thick, it won't fit inside. On top of it, I also wanted to test which one will rust. So that's also very important when it comes to the keychain and jump rings. Hence I got two different options. I have to test keychains where I've attached these two chains on top of them, and both of them kind of look really nice for some reason. I don't know, I really like the chain look. It appears to be a bit more professional than the jump rings for some reason, so I'm pretty happy. Now the only thing that was left was the rusting test. In case you guys didn't know, recently I've been doing a small rust test with most of my metal raw material. I just simply put some salt along with water in a small little tray, as you can see here, and put all the raw materials that I want to test for rusting. This will help you understand how reactive the material or the metal is. Sometimes they react pretty quickly and start rusting and showing deposits, so you have to stay away from material like that. And sometimes, like this one here, I have kept them in salt water for the past 3 days now. For the first day there was no sign of rusting. For the second and third, I think there were some deposit, but that is fine. What you need to test is how less reactive your raw material is. Usually I was expecting this to rust completely because oftentimes when things have a coating this shiny, they come off. But I must say I'm very impressed by the results. So this is after putting them in salt water for about 2 to 3 days, which is a long time. And if you can see this one, the one that is metal and dark looking, that started rusting only from the point where you have a cut on it, which is pretty normal because there won't be any coating around the cut. However, if you look at the entire loop, it's pretty clean and decent. For the shiny one, which actually impressed me quite a lot because I was expecting the whole loop will be rusted, but again it only got rusted from the point where there is a cut, and the rest of the loop was completely clean and non-reactive. I have a bunch of hair clips to make this time, so I also wanted to test this pin that I have here. Although it has some roughness on the surface, there is no rusting that I can see on top of it. Now I was very scared about the hair clip because the chains is something that I can get from another supplier and try their product out. In case you've seen my previous vlog, you know how difficult it was for me to get these hair clips, and I don't think even if these started rusting, I would be able to find another alternative in terms of the supplier. So I was scared about this one. So it's safe to say that the rust test was successful on this one, as well as all the chains that I got, except for the small part where the chains are cut, where I've already told you guys there is no coating, so there'll be a slight bit of rusting. And we also need to keep in mind that these were put in salt water for 2 to 3 days, which is a long time. So a small splash of water randomly which can be wiped off, I don't think that's going to have any effect on them, because even being submerged in the salt water for a full day, I had seen no rusting on top. So I think I'm gonna go with these for this shop update. Maybe after some weeks I'll collect some reviews from the same people that I've sold just to understand whether there was some rusting or not. So yeah.
Open air, side by side we sway there in all the colors. like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors, summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green and all the colors, summer remember the lazy river day canoe, bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove.
Hi there, as promised you guys, I have two shoutouts for this vlog. The first one is for Clay Cottage Cafe by With Love Samiksha. I'm pretty sure you must have seen her work before too. She's a wonderful little clay artist, and just like a cherry on top, she also has a YouTube channel where she posts long form content. Just like her channel name suggests, her work actually feels like a cottagecore theme style work. Now for the second shoutout, I don't wanna butcher the name, so I'm just gonna put the name here. I think it's called Clay Cha or Clay Crafts by Hastkala Saj. Now just like WhimsyVille, she has been working on her own little whimsical world, if you can see, where tiny little characters live. The world has some original characters which came and settled down, and then there are a bunch of more interesting characters which make living deserts and similar things like that. Like this one here is called a Strawberry Bumpy, and it lives on a cookie throne. This is so cute and adorable. For some reason, I couldn't stop myself from scrolling through her work. So if you like something like that, you can check out her work. Also, she has a YouTube channel. You can see that too. And in case any of you guys wants to participate in the future shoutouts, feel free to fill the form that is there in the description of this vlog. It's completely free. There is no competition. So if you fill your form, you'll definitely get a shoutout in some or the other vlog in future. Now with that, we are done with our vlog. Thank you so much for tagging along and watching till the end. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, stay cozy. Bye for now.
A little different than all the rest. A quite old fashioned where I had sometimes played chess. And when I